Hi YouTube, this is going to be a video showing the stages through a dragon sculpt that I did. So I started off, you can see it's quite large this. This is just with aluminium wire all twisted around. This is a really easy way of getting a kind of rough overall shape. You can bend it, you can manipulate it wherever you want until you've got something that you can work with. Then for this particular sculpt I use Super Sculpey. This stuff's really nice. It's like very soft. It's like using kind of plasticine or something like that. You put it on, and then once it's done, you bake it in the oven. Hence why on this particular image it stood on a bit of aluminium foil. Just means that I can move it onto a baking tray really easily. Okay, after adding a little bit more Super Sculpey and refining some of the muscle shapes and things a bit, I baked it, and then after baking, I'm using this other stuff called Milliput, which is a two-part putty, and it dries kind of rock hard. So you can see it in the image there, in the blue and the clear kind of bags at the front there. So you take a bit of each, mix them together, and then you've got 4 hours before it sets rock hard. So I use this to do like the ears, the ridges on the head, the claws, and all of the spine, all of the bones that are kind of sticking out up on the top of the back. Those bits will break off really easily if you just used Super Sculpey, so Milliput was the way to go. Okay, next I added the tendons of the hands and also the webbing of the hands. Then I did the neck, and I built up quite a lot of dimpled textures in that. I did the scales underneath the neck, and then I did the gums and the teeth. All of the teeth I made separately, then I let them harden, and then I stuck them into some gums. That is a really easy way of doing that. The horns as well I've done, and the tongue. And yeah, I think that's about it for this stage. But here's a few close-ups of the head. So you can see I've used a couple of glass eyes. I just bought those on eBay. They add a lot of realism to something like this though, so it's worth spending a little bit of money to get those right. You can see I've also added some Milliput to make like the lower jaw and the feet at the back and that kind of thing. I did end up using a lot of Milliput on this sculpt, because I basically coated the whole thing with Milliput, but it's really good for getting a lot of good textures in. Okay, yeah, after doing everything that I needed to with the Milliput, which did involve, coating basically the whole thing with Milliput and then adding a kind of wrinkly texture to his skin over the whole body. So it was quite a lot of refining. Then I decided to paint the whole thing in this kind of mid-grey colour, which does look really good. It's kind of like a concept model. It means that a lot of the detail kind of shows up really well. And yeah, I really kind of liked this. I do end up painting it again later, you'll see. But I think I actually prefer it this grey colour. I might end up painting it back this colour again. In the future as well, I want to add wings to this. It's worth mentioning as well the all of the fine things that are sticking out of it, all the sort of barbs. Those are made with feathers. Feathers are really good. If you just get some feathers from, say, like a wood pigeon or a big bird like that, then you can strip off all the softer parts of the feathers, so you're just left with the middle bit, and you can paint it afterwards. And if these were made of anything like Milliput, they would just snap really easily. So with a feather, what's really good is if you knock him against anything, they just bend. So I thoroughly recommend using stripped feathers for any kind of pointy, long thing that you want to have sticking out of a dragon or other creature or anything else you happen to be making. They're really useful. Yeah, if I ever do end up making wings for him, I'll certainly do another video in the future to show you what he kind of finally ends up looking like. Like I say, I've painted him after this grey stage, and it's alright. I'm sort of pleased with it, but I think I could do better, so I'll probably end up repainting him at some point. Okay, this is how he's looking now, you see. So I painted him black, and then I painted him like a dark red colour, and then a lighter red onto that. So just, this is all kind of dry brush to bring out all the textures. to show up all his kind of muscles and things, but I think I will repaint him at some point. I mean, I suppose he does have a sort of a devilish look at the moment, but we'll see. I'll give it a lot more thought, obviously, as I'm making the wings, and I'll decide as I go along. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Hit subscribe to see more in the future, because I make things all the time, and check out my other videos to see some kind of 80s movie creatures and that kind of thing that I've made, and also a lot of creatures that I've made up, and a few animals as well. I've sculpted an armadillo, for example. Check those out, and I'll catch you in the next video.